I think there is a problem with Nigerians collectively. Maybe individually we're all right, but reasoning as a collective, something has been done to us psychologically. I have not forgotten Kwara. I've not forgotten Plateau. I've not forgotten Yelawata. I've not forgotten certain other parts of the Middle Belt, Southern Kaduna particularly. Somebody went to Kwara a couple of weeks ago, took their time, gathered people, and hoped that the people would offer themselves as a human shield. In other words, we want to settle in your community. We want your community to be our base. From here, we will attack the heart of the southwestern part of the country. And the people are saying, no, we don't give room to terrorists. And possibly, again, they appealed from a religious perspective. Well, we are Muslims like yourself, so absorb us. Basically, what they needed was a human shield, such that if anybody traces the pattern of their movement and decides to attack, there will be the death of innocent people. And just as it has played out in Gaza, we would say the government is attacking innocent people, they are attacking innocent Muslims and all that. So the Muslims there stood their ground, and they decided to gather them. I'm taking my time to break it down, not because you don't know it, but possibly it would refresh your memory and get it closer to your heart. They gathered the people, and they now selected the ones with whom they shared ethnic identity together, and they went ahead and they killed every other person, over 200. As if that was not enough, they took their time also. I think it coincided with the time of prayer. The ones they didn't kill, they wanted them to come and join them in prayer, and they took away over 100 people. The government felt they needed to lie to cover that up, possibly as a way of some damage management. And then these Islamists felt the moral responsibility to come and record themselves and tell Nigerians, your government is lying to you, we took more people, look at them. And just before we could finish absorbing that, they went to another part of the country. You would hear them killing 50, you hear them killing 30 and all that. What I want to say to us, especially those advocates of 2027, we will kick out the APC and all of that. That place that your mentality has been taken to, that place you have been placed psychologically, to go to bed, to wake up with the full knowledge that 200 innocent people were basically killed in less than 120 minutes. And the killers didn't fly into the country, did it and left. They took their time in that community, killed people, and just retired a few kilometers away from where they did the killing. Nobody is going after them, and nobody is doing anything. Now, that mindset that makes you go to bed comfortably, wake up and think that in 2027, you will do anything different from what you are currently doing now with the war that is going on in Nigeria, is basically the victory that the APC has already won long before then. And I told you, I said between now and 2027 general election, these Fulani Islamists would have wasted at least 10,000 people. Others will tell you it's at least 25,000. And I think if you are reasonable enough, you don't have to be engaging in those trenches where the killings are happening. Just skim from the media, the government approved figures, put them together weekly or bi-weekly, and try to look at the attitude of the government and tell me if anything is going to change. But the belief is we are willing to stretch our accommodation of these mass murders with the hope that months from now or a year from now, we will go out to the poll and we will prove to this government that it is not business as usual. Until you come to terms with the fact that even 10 million votes are far less important than the life of one man, there is nothing that will change. But we have been psychologically twisted into believing that the vote of 2027 is more important than the lives of the people that are being killed. I am not one of, like I said, the entirety of the 2027 election, I have come to terms with the fact that it is far less important than the life of one innocent Nigerian. Oh my goodness. I think we have been psychologically fooled. We are fed with the obsession of changing the government in place, while this bloody war that is going on is basically cutting the life of people down. I know the ease with which we swallow that, because many of us live in areas where you've never just set out in the morning and saw 300 people killed. You've never just set out in the morning and saw 150 people, mainly women and children, killed. So you see it on Twitter, you hear stories from Sokoto, from part of Benue, from Plateau, from Southern Kaduna, and then you complain, you do your best, and then you say, we'll deal with the government in 2027. My brother, you will do nothing in 2027. You will do nothing. There is nothing you will do in 2027. That thing that has made you comfortable to go to bed and wake up in the face of these mass murders, how is it possible that it will not allow you to think, can I actually make any change in 2027? There is no part of the world today where people get killed. It's like that. You could put together the entire parts of the world where official wars are taking place, where we could say there is a war in Gaza, there is a war between Russia and Ukraine, there is a war in Sudan. When you put the casualties together, it does not measure up to what Nigeria suffers. But the average Nigerian, the illiterate, the intellectual, the one with political power and the one that is part of the masses, the one who is a civil servant and the one that's a businessman, that is fed up, believes 2027 will show the government pepper. How about now? Who deceived us? Who manipulated us? How much of this witchcraft have we swallowed? But like I said, let's continue planning for 2027 while the mass burials are going on across the country and while these Islamists are becoming bolder every day, because you and I know very well the greater likelihood is for the government to call them and negotiate with them. And that's, you and I are more likely to go to jail for saying anything, for even criticizing the government, than an Islamist who would have raped thousands of women, killed thousands of people, and suddenly just putting his wife and his children together and a few others and saying, I come, and places his hand on the Quran, I swear to Allah, I will no longer do this. And then he goes through a rehabilitation and then he is absolved, possibly with privileges that even with your first degree or master's or PhD, you will never get from the Nigerian government.